Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight, we are venturing deep into a universe that lives inside you. A hidden cosmos of cells, signals, and defense. The immune system is one of nature's most astonishing creations. A living shield made of countless microscopic guardians who never sleep. It learns, it adapts, it remembers, and it does all of this without you ever knowing. Imagine a network so vast, it touches every corner of your body. A program so ancient that even trees and sharks share parts of its code. In tonight's exploration, you will discover how the body fights, repairs, teaches, and even negotiates. You will hear secrets of cells that sacrifice themselves, and others that spark with lightning speed. And you will see how every breath, every meal, every moment of rest becomes part of this intricate dance of protection and balance. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, just breathe. Let your eyes grow heavy and allow your body to sink into rest. Let's begin. Your immune system is constantly scanning every inch of your body. Right now, even as you breathe and blink, your immune system is awake, wandering through the landscape of your body like a silent security network. Millions of cells are drifting through your bloodstream and tissue, each one checking tiny biological details that you will never notice. They're looking for patterns that do not belong, signals of infection, fragments of viral code, or even a single damaged cell that might turn dangerous. This process is so constant and so thorough that every inch of you is examined again and again, 24 hours a day. No moment is too quiet for it. Even while you sleep, your immune system keeps watch, catching threats you will never see, launching defenses before you feel a single symptom. It is not dramatic. It does not make a sound. But it is one of the most complex and ancient forms of intelligence in the natural world, operating inside you every second of your life, without ever stopping to rest. You have multiple layers of immunity working at once. Your immunity is not just one thing. It is a layered and cooperative system that works like a castle with overlapping defenses. On the outside, you have your skin and protective barriers that keep most invaders from ever entering your body in the first place. Just beneath that are fast-acting cells that respond to anything that looks dangerous, without needing to think or wait. Deeper inside, there is a slower but far more specialized layer, the part of your immunity that learns from experience and remembers past threats, so it can react faster the next time they appear. These layers are not separate teams. They talk to each other constantly, sending signals, balancing strength, and adjusting their responses as conditions change. If a threat is stopped early, deeper defenses stay quiet. If something slips through, the full system awakens. This overlapping structure gives you resilience, protection, and the ability to adapt, all at the same time. Your skin is part of your immune system. Your skin is not just a covering. It is a living barrier that guards the entire outer surface of your body with remarkable precision and strength. The very top layer, made of tightly packed dead cells, forms a dry, acidic shield that most microbes simply cannot survive on. Just beneath that, a bustling community of living cells stands ready to respond the moment the surface is broken. A simple scrape or cut instantly activates a quiet race. As immune cells rush toward the wound, blood vessels widen to increase circulation, and cleanup begins before you even notice the injury. Even when unbroken, your skin is actively defending you. It secretes oils and natural chemicals that discourage harmful microbes, and supports a thriving population of friendly ones that help crowd out invaders. It senses temperature, pressure, and pain, and passes that information on so your body can react and stay safe. Your skin is a border, a warning system, a habitat, and a battlefield, all at once. Mucus is a protective barrier filled with defenders. Mucus may not seem special, but it is one of the most powerful and adaptable shields your body has. It coats everything from the inside of your nose and throat to the surface of your lungs and intestines, creating a constantly moving layer that catches viruses, bacteria, dust, and pollen long before they can reach your cells. Inside this silky shield are enzymes that break apart microbes, antibodies that cling to invaders and hold them still, and proteins that prevent germs from attaching to your tissues at all. Tiny hairs in your airways sweep mucus upward and outward, moving trapped particles to places where they can be swallowed and destroyed by stomach acid. In the gut, mucus separates trillions of bacteria from the cells that absorb nutrients, maintaining peace between two very different worlds. It is continually replenished and constantly alert, changing its thickness and chemistry depending on what your body senses around it. You hardly ever think about it, but mucus is one of your most tireless guardians. Tears and saliva contain powerful antimicrobial agents. Every blink and every swallow brings a fresh wave of immune protection across the most vulnerable entrances to your body. Tears do far more than keep your eyes from drying out. They contain enzymes that can slice open the walls of bacteria, salts that create an unfriendly environment for invaders, and antibodies that lock onto viruses before they can reach the surface of the eye. Each blink spreads this protective mixture, sweeping away dust, microbes, and particles before they have time to settle. Saliva works in a similar way. It washes the mouth and throat, breaks down food, and creates conditions that make it harder for harmful microbes to survive. It also contains friendly bacteria that help keep more dangerous species under control. These fluids are not just moisture. They are carefully engineered defenses, renewed again and again throughout the day, guarding you every time you speak, breathe, eat, or simply move through the world. Stomach acid is one of your first lines of defense. Before most invaders even get a chance to face your immune cells, they must pass through one of the harshest environments in the body, the acid-filled chamber of your stomach. This liquid is strong enough to unravel proteins, dissolve the outer walls of bacteria, and cripple viruses that were swallowed in food or inhaled and then cleared into the throat. Very few microbes can survive in such a brutally acidic environment, and most of them never make it past this first barrier. At the same time, your stomach protects itself from this corrosive fluid by lining its walls with a thick layer of mucus and constantly replacing its own cells. It balances destruction and protection with perfect timing, breaking food apart into nutrients while stripping away danger before it can continue deeper into your body. The next time you eat, remember, before digestion even begins, defense is already underway. White blood cells are like tiny tracking missiles. White blood cells do not wander randomly through your body. They follow chemical signals like detectives tracking a scent, moving toward higher concentrations of distress signals released by injured cells or alert sentries. Once they arrive, they change shape, wrap themselves around invaders, release toxic chemicals, or send signals calling for backup. Some move quickly, chasing bacteria through tissue, while others sit still and watch for anything suspicious. They can squeeze through gaps in blood vessel walls, slide between cells, and even rearrange their own structures to move more efficiently. When the threat is gone, many of them switch modes, helping to clean up debris or guide healing. They do not work alone. Every move they make is part of a larger orchestration, a constant dance of patrol, detection, response, and repair. They are not just cells. They are living sensors and responders, always aware and always ready. Neutrophils make up the bulk of your immune army. Neutrophils are the most abundant white blood cells in your body, and for good reason. They are built for fast action, forming wave after wave of first responders whenever infection or injury is detected. They leave the bloodstream within moments of receiving a distress signal, squeezing through narrow vessel walls to reach damaged tissue. Once there, they engulf bacteria, release chemicals that break apart microbial structures, and even eject their own DNA to create sticky nets that trap invaders in place. Their lives are short, often just a few hours or days, but they do not need to live long to be effective. They act quickly, hit hard, and then make room for other immune cells that take charge of the cleanup and repair. Without neutrophils, even the smallest infection could spread out of control, overwhelming other defenses before they had time to organize. They are the shock troops of your immune system, unsung but essential. Macrophages devour invaders like cellular Pac-Men. Macrophages are among the most versatile and long-lived defenders in your immune system. They sit quietly in your tissues, watching for anything that does not belong, then spring into action the moment they detect a threat. When they find bacteria, damaged cells, or debris from injury, they surround it, swallow it, and break it down inside a controlled chamber filled with digestive enzymes. But they do far more than just clean up. After they finish digesting a threat, they present pieces of it to other immune cells, helping the body learn what the invader looked like so it can respond faster next time. Macrophages also help with healing. They clear dead cells, release signals that encourage tissue to rebuild, and shift their behavior depending on whether the body needs aggression or recovery. They are patient, adaptable, and deeply intelligent in the language of immunity, always balancing destruction with repair. Dendritic cells are the immune system's master communicators. Dendritic cells are the connectors between the world outside your body and the deeper layers of your immune intelligence. They collect samples of everything that enters damaged tissue, whether it is a virus, a splinter, or a stray protein. Once they have gathered enough information, they travel to the nearest lymph node, where thousands of immune cells wait for instructions. There, they display tiny fragments of what they found, explaining exactly what the threat looks like and how serious it is. The entire adaptive immune response depends on this moment of instruction. Without dendritic cells, the immune system would be strong but blind, unable to prepare a targeted response. They are calm scouts during quiet times and urgent messengers during crisis. They decide when peace should be kept and when war must begin, shaping the entire future of an immune encounter with just a single delivery of information. Natural killer cells can detect and destroy cancer cells. They do it without waiting for a full briefing, scanning the surface of nearby cells for the quiet telltale signs of danger. Healthy cells display reassuring markers that say all is well. Stressed or transformed cells often lose those signals and display distress flags that betray internal chaos. Natural killer cells read this balance and act within minutes. They dock against the suspicious target, form a tight contact, and release perforin that opens pores, followed by granzymes that slip inside and set off a clean self-destruct program. When antibodies have latched onto a target, natural killer cells can also perform a specialized strike by recognizing the antibody tails and finishing the job. Then, they move on, ready to repeat the cycle. This constant patrol removes many threats before they ever grow into something noticeable, trimming back nascent tumors and virus-altered cells while you carry on with your day. T cells can remember previous infections for decades. After an infection fades, a small force remains behind, not idle, but quietly rehearsing. These memory T cells carry a precise record of what the invader looked like, where it tended to hide, and which tactics were effective. Some circulate through blood and lymph to revisit checkpoints. Others settle in tissues that faced the battle and stay there as resident guardians. They respond faster than first-time fighters, expand in number more quickly, and need fewer signals to launch. Many survive through gentle signals that keep them renewed over years, dividing slowly to preserve the line. When the familiar threat returns, they compress days of preparation into hours. That speed can be the difference between mild symptoms and serious illness. Vaccination works in part by building this long-lived cadre so that your body can skip the slow learning phase and move straight to a confident, focused defense. Helper T cells coordinate immune attacks like generals. They do not carry the biggest weapons, yet their decisions shape the entire battle. They listen to reports from sentry cells that bring fragments of a threat, then choose strategies that fit the moment. One path equips fighters to dismantle microbes hiding inside cells. Another path ramps up defenses against parasites that must be expelled. In other situations, they guide antibody makers to improve their aim and to switch to the class that best suits the terrain, whether blood, lung, or gut. Helper T cells release precise combinations of signals that tell macrophages when to become fiercer, instruct neutrophils where to converge, and encourage B cells to refine their designs through rounds of mutation testing. They also know when to calm the field so repair can begin. Without their choreography, responses become noisy and unfocused. With them, the immune system acts like a unified organism with purpose and timing. B cells make Y-shaped antibodies to neutralize threats. Each B cell starts with its own unique prototype, a Y-shaped molecule on its surface that combined a very specific molecular pattern. When that pattern appears during an infection, the lucky cell that fits it receives help, multiplies, and begins producing vast numbers of soluble Ys that spread through blood and tissues. Those antibodies can glue invaders together so they cannot move, block attachment points so viruses cannot enter cells, and tag threats for clean removal by other defenders. With coaching from helper T cells, some B cells set up in specialized training zones where their designs are tested and refined, producing versions that hold tighter and work better. The best graduates become long-lived plasma cells that settle into bone marrow and keep trickling out protection. Others become memory cells that wait for the next encounter. This quiet manufacturing network stands behind many of the most durable forms of immunity. Your body can produce billions of unique antibodies. That astonishing variety is not stored like a library of finished books. It is generated on the fly. Early in a B cell's life, the gene segments that encode the arms of the Y-shaped molecule are shuffled and stitched together in different combinations. Extra diversity is added by trimming or inserting a few random nucleotides at the joints. Later, during an immune response, successful designs are deliberately mutated in small steps, then tested again for tighter binding. Weak binders are discarded. Strong binders receive signals to continue. The result is a universe of possible keys ready to match the locks that nature might present. You do not need to meet every microbe to prepare for it. Your immune system explores the space of shapes in advance, then chooses winners when a real challenge arrives. This creative engine gives immunity its remarkable reach and its ability to adapt to the unknown. Your bone marrow is a hidden immune factory. Inside the quiet darkness of your long bones, a living workshop hums along every hour of your life. Hematopoietic stem cells sit in protective niches, responding to subtle cues from surrounding support cells. When a signal calls for reinforcements, they divide and branch into the many lineages that immunity requires, from fleet-footed neutrophils to patient B cells and disciplined T cell precursors. The marrow senses seasons of need. During infection, it can shift into emergency production, pushing out extra waves of short-lived soldiers. During calm, it focuses on maintenance, balancing renewal with restraint so the stem cell pool endures for decades. Newly minted cells exit through small vascular channels and join the circulation, already equipped with homing instructions and schedules. Some will live only hours. Others will seed tissues for years. All of them owe their origin to this hidden workshop that never closes its doors. The thymus trains immune cells to know friend from foe. T cells arrive as inexperienced recruits and progress through a careful education that determines whether they can safely serve. In early rooms, they must demonstrate that their receptors can recognize the basic language of the body's own display system. Those that cannot are dismissed. In later rooms, they face a harder test. They are presented with a vast range of ordinary self-molecules, including proteins that appear only in distant organs. Any cell that reacts too strongly is removed for safety. A small set graduates with mature functions and a clear sense of restraint. This training is especially vital early in life, when the future balance of tolerance and protection is set. Although the thymus shrinks with age, its imprint endures through the T cells it shaped. That imprint prevents daily life from turning into a battlefield, while preserving the capacity to fight when a true intruder appears. Lymph nodes are strategic immune checkpoints. They sit like way stations along the drainage routes that carry fluid from tissues back into circulation. As that fluid enters a node, it is slowed and sifted through a fine reticular network that exposes whatever it carries to resident sentries. Dendritic cells arrive with samples and climb to central platforms to brief incoming T cells. Nearby, B cells gather in clustered halls that can transform overnight into training centers, where better antibodies are forged. Specialized small blood vessels allow a constant stream of fresh lymphocytes to enter, patrol, and leave. When a local battle is brewing, the node swells as cell numbers surge and new structures form. When the threat passes, those structures collapse and the node returns to its quiet baseline. This traffic control and information exchange allows a small signal from the skin or gut to be amplified into a precise systemic response without wasting energy or time. Your spleen filters blood and removes old cells. Unlike lymph nodes that watch the slow river from tissues, the spleen surveys the fast current of blood itself. In one region, worn-out red cells are inspected as they squeeze through narrow passages. Those that fail the test are quietly dismantled and recycled. In another region, clusters of immune cells sample whatever the bloodstream carries, from bacterial fragments to virus-coated particles. If danger is detected, the spleen becomes a command post, releasing stored platelets, summoning fighters, and guiding antibody-coated targets to efficient destruction. People who lack a working spleen can live well, but they face higher risk from certain encapsulated bacteria, which the spleen is especially good at clearing. Far from being a passive organ, it is a vigilant filter and a rapid response center for blood-borne threats, preserving clarity in the circulation and handing off salvageable materials for reuse. The gut is home to 70% of your immune cells. That concentration is no accident. Your intestines are a long interface with the outside world where nutrients are welcomed, but pathogens must be turned away. Immune tissues line this landscape from patches just beneath the surface to deeper hubs that connect to lymph nodes. Specialized cells sample the passing contents and deliver tiny reports to nearby sentries. Friendly microbes are tolerated and even supported because they help keep their troublesome cousins in check. When a true threat appears, local responses are launched that can neutralize danger without disrupting digestion. Antibodies suited for mucosal surfaces are produced and shipped into the lumen. Regulatory circuits dampen unnecessary inflammation so that meals do not become battles. This balance requires constant negotiation between host and microbe, between vigilance and peace. The result is a vast, dynamic frontier where most of your immune system lives, learns, and quietly protects you every single day. The gut microbiome trains and strengthens immunity. The community of microorganisms living in your intestines is not just a collection of passengers. It is a living, evolving partner that talks directly to your immune system every hour of your life. From the moment you are born, these microbes begin educating your immune cells, teaching them the difference between harmless visitors and dangerous invaders. They release molecules that calm inflammation when it is not needed and amplify it when there is real danger. They can even shape how your immune cells develop, influencing the balance between aggression and tolerance. When this microbial neighborhood is diverse and stable, your immune defenses are sharper and better regulated. When it is disrupted by infection, stress, or antibiotics, the immune system can lose its balance and react in ways that are either too slow or too intense. Your gut microbes are not simply tolerated. They are trusted instructors, sculptors of immune intelligence, and silent guardians of the barrier between the outside world and your inner cells. Breast milk delivers ready-made immune defenses to babies. Long before a baby can make its own fully trained immune army, it receives a direct supply line from the mother. Breast milk contains antibodies that reflect the mother's lifetime of experience with pathogens. These antibodies move through the infant's digestive system, neutralizing microbes before they can cause harm and coating the gut lining with protection. But breast milk delivers far more than defense molecules. It contains complex sugars that feed specific beneficial bacteria, guiding the newborn's microbiome toward a healthy balance. It also includes live immune cells that can respond to threats and carry out patrols in the baby's tissues. Each feeding is a transfer of both nutrition and wisdom, tailored to the baby's developmental stage. This natural system of borrowed immunity bridges the early months of life, providing coverage until the child's own defenses learn to stand on their own. Butterfly rash in lupus is an immune system misfire. In systemic lupus erythematosus, the immune system becomes confused and begins to treat the body's own tissues as if they were dangerous invaders. One of the most recognizable signs is a red, butterfly-shaped rash that spreads across the cheeks and bridge of the nose. This rash is not just a skin reaction. It is a visible sign of deeper immune dysfunction happening throughout the body. Antibodies meant to defend against bacteria or viruses begin binding to the body's own DNA and proteins. These immune complexes travel through the bloodstream and trigger inflammation wherever they land, from skin to kidneys to brain tissue. Sunlight can make the rash worse because ultraviolet light further alters skin proteins and draws more immune attention. The butterfly rash is a reminder of how delicate the balance of immunity is and how devastating it can be when the system meant to protect you turns its weapons inward. Allergies are your immune system getting confused. When you have an allergic reaction, your immune system is responding to something that poses no real threat, like pollen, pet dander, or a peanut protein. The problem begins the first time the immune system encounters the allergen and mistakenly treats it as a dangerous invader. It builds a specific set of antibodies designed to defend against that harmless substance. The next time the allergen appears, those antibodies trigger a cascade of reactions, releasing histamine and other chemicals that lead to sneezing, itching, swelling, or worse. This overreaction evolved from useful defenses against parasitic worms and venomous stings, where rapid expulsion and inflammation could save a life. In modern environments, those same defenses can backfire dramatically. Allergies are not a sign of weak immunity, but of misdirected vigilance, a case where the system that protects you has become too sensitive for its own good. Autoimmune disorders turn the immune system against you. Under normal circumstances, the immune system is trained to ignore the body's own tissues, while staying alert to danger. Autoimmune diseases break that rule. In conditions like type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, and rheumatoid arthritis, immune cells begin to recognize healthy cells as targets. They attack the insulin-producing cells of the pancreas, the protective coating on nerves, or the lining of joints, depending on the disease. This process often starts slowly and silently, building over years before symptoms appear. The causes are complex and can involve genetics, infections, hormonal changes, or environmental triggers that confuse the immune response. Once activated, the attack is sustained by a loop of inflammation and cell damage. Treatments often focus on dialing down the immune response without leaving the person vulnerable to real infections. Autoimmunity reveals both the power and the potential fragility of a system that must constantly balance aggression with self-tolerance. Fever is a strategic immune response, not a malfunction. When your body temperature rises during an infection, it is not because something has gone wrong. It is because your immune system has made a calculated decision. Fever creates conditions that make it harder for many pathogens to survive and replicate. At the same time, higher temperatures speed up the movement and activity of immune cells, enhancing their ability to find and neutralize threats. The liver holds onto iron and zinc, starving bacteria that need those metals to grow. Muscles ache and energy levels fall, not as signs of weakness, but as signals to rest and conserve resources for the immune battle. Fever is tightly regulated by the brain, which uses chemicals called pyrogens to adjust the body's thermostat. When the threat passes, the thermostat resets and the excess heat is released. Fever is a tool, not an accident, and it reflects a long evolutionary history of survival through intelligent adaptation. Inflammation is like a controlled fire for healing. When tissue is injured or invaded by microbes, immune cells ignite a series of reactions that bring more blood, more defenders, and more repair molecules to the site. The area becomes red, warm, swollen, and sometimes painful. This is not chaos. It is a deliberate effort to contain the damage, destroy invaders, and clear debris. Blood vessels widen to allow easier access for white blood cells. Chemical signals call in specialized cleaners and fighters. Dead cells are broken down and removed. Growth factors are released to prepare the ground for rebuilding. Like fire, inflammation is powerful and necessary, but it must be contained. If it spreads too far or burns too long, it can damage healthy tissue and create chronic illness. The body relies on regulatory pathways to turn off inflammation once the job is done, restoring balance and allowing true healing to begin. Without inflammation, wounds would never heal. Every cut, scrape, or bruise triggers an immediate inflammatory response that begins the repair process. Immune cells rush to the site not only to kill microbes that might take advantage of the breach, but to clean up damaged tissue. Platelets form a clot and release signals that draw in white blood cells. Macrophages arrive to digest dead cells and take away debris that would otherwise linger. These cells also secrete proteins that encourage new blood vessels to grow and fibroblasts to lay down fresh collagen. Without this orchestrated sequence, even a minor wound would remain open and vulnerable. Inflammation is the spark that turns injury into recovery, guiding the transformation from damage to regeneration. Only after this work is complete do calm signals take over, reducing inflammation and allowing the skin or tissue to return to its normal state. Healing is impossible without that first wave of controlled fire. Your immune system has its own form of memory. Long after an infection is gone, the immune system keeps a record of the encounter. This memory is stored in specialized cells that remember the exact shape of the invader and the best way to defeat it. Memory T cells and memory B cells can persist for years or even decades, patrolling the body or resting in tissues where they are most likely to be needed again. If the same pathogen returns, these cells react much faster and with greater precision than during the first encounter. They do not need to relearn the shape of the threat. They already know exactly what to do. This memory can be so powerful that a single exposure in childhood can protect a person for a lifetime. It is one of the immune system's most remarkable abilities, turning temporary battles into lasting defense. Vaccines train immunity without making you sick. A vaccine introduces a harmless version or piece of a pathogen into the body, allowing the immune system to study it without facing real danger. Dendritic cells pick up the material, carry it to lymph nodes, and present it to T and B cells, which then build a targeted response. Antibodies are produced. Memory cells are formed. The immune system rehearses, perfects, and stores the defense plan. Later, if the real pathogen appears, the body responds as if it had already fought and won the battle. The invader is stopped before it can cause serious harm. Vaccination leverages the immune system's ability to learn and remember, creating protection that can last for years or decades. It does not shortcut immunity. It teaches it, safely and strategically, using the same biological pathways that natural infections rely on, but without the risk of illness or long-term damage. Herd immunity protects communities through shared defense. When enough people in a population develop immunity to a pathogen, whether through infection or vaccination, the disease loses its ability to move freely from host to host. This creates a protective barrier around those who are still vulnerable, such as newborns, the elderly, or people with weakened immune systems. The pathogen finds fewer available bodies to infect, transmission slows, and outbreaks become rare or stop altogether. Herd immunity does not mean that every person is immune. It means that enough people are immune to break the chain of infection. This idea applies to everything from measles to influenza, and it shows that immunity is not just a personal shield, but a shared resource. Every individual who gains protection through vaccination or recovery contributes to a larger safety net, turning a private defense into a public good that can save lives far beyond their own. Immunosenescence is immune aging you can slow down. As we grow older, our immune system gradually loses some of its precision and power. The thymus shrinks, producing fewer fresh T cells. Memory cells may pile up without enough turnover, and communication between different branches of immunity can become sluggish or confused. This process, known as immunosenescence, explains why older adults are more vulnerable to infections, less responsive to vaccines, and more prone to chronic inflammation. But immune aging is not an unstoppable decline. Regular physical activity, a nutritious diet rich in antioxidants, sufficient sleep, and stress management can all help preserve immune function. Some studies suggest that vaccines work better in older adults who exercise, and that maintaining a diverse gut microbiome may slow immune wear. While age brings change, it does not erase the ability to strengthen and support the body's defenses. The immune system remains adaptable, even in later life, when given care and stimulation. Sleep supercharges your immune system. When you fall asleep, your body does not power down. It shifts into a state that allows the immune system to work more efficiently. Certain types of immune cells become more active at night, circulating through the bloodstream with renewed purpose. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, which supports the production and repair of immune tissues. At the same time, stress hormones that can suppress immunity dip to low levels. Memory T cells use this quiet period to strengthen their bonds and refine their ability to recognize past invaders. Even vaccines produce stronger, longer-lasting responses when the recipient has enjoyed adequate sleep. Just one night of poor rest can reduce the number of natural killer cells available to patrol the body the next day. Sleep is not a luxury or a pause in life. It is a biological requirement for strong, coordinated, and focused immunity. Chronic stress can suppress immune strength dramatically. The stress response is designed for short bursts of action. When the brain senses danger, it triggers the release of adrenaline and cortisol, preparing the body for quick decisions and rapid movement. These hormones temporarily redirect energy away from processes like digestion and immunity. When the stress ends, the body returns to balance. But when stress becomes chronic, the immune system never fully recovers. Cortisol stays elevated, shrinking the thymus, reducing the number of lymphocytes in circulation and impairing communication between immune cells. Inflammation can rise unpredictably, increasing the risk of autoimmune flare-ups and slowing the healing of wounds. Even vaccines may become less effective in chronically stressed individuals. The body becomes stuck in a loop, burning resources that immunity needs for renewal and repair. Reducing stress is not just good for mental health. It is essential for a resilient, responsive immune system that can meet daily challenges with strength rather than fatigue. Loneliness has measurable effects on immunity. Social isolation is not just an emotional experience. It is a biological stressor that changes the workings of the immune system. People who feel chronically lonely often show increased levels of inflammatory markers in their blood, as if the body is preparing for injury that never comes. At the same time, the genes responsible for antiviral defense may become less active, weakening surveillance against viruses. These shifts reflect an ancient survival pattern in which isolation signaled vulnerability to physical threats. The immune system would prepare to heal wounds rather than fight infections. Today, this pattern backfires. Loneliness can make people more susceptible to colds, slower to recover from illness, and at higher risk for chronic diseases linked to inflammation. Building meaningful social connections is more than a psychological need. It is a form of biological nourishment that helps keep the immune system balanced and ready to respond in healthy ways. Exercise strengthens immunity even at the cellular level. Physical activity does more than tone muscles or burn calories. It mobilizes immune cells, increases circulation, and helps clear out aging or ineffective cells that clog the system. During moderate exercise, white blood cells move more freely through the bloodstream, improving their ability to detect early signs of infection. Over time, regular movement helps preserve the size and function of the thymus, one of the main training centers for new T cells. It also reduces inflammation, lowers stress hormones, and supports a healthier gut microbiome. Even a single session of exercise can temporarily boost natural killer cell activity, enhancing the body's ability to spot and eliminate abnormal cells. The benefits are dose-dependent. Gentle, consistent activity strengthens immunity, while extreme overtraining can cause temporary suppression. The key is balance and rhythm, allowing the immune system to stay alert without being overwhelmed. Exercise is not just movement. It is medicine that circulates through every organ. The immune system communicates using chemical signals. Cells involved in defense do not rely on physical contact to coordinate their work. They speak in bursts of chemical messages known as cytokines, chemokines, and growth factors. These molecules can act locally, whispering instructions to nearby cells, or travel through the bloodstream to broadcast a wider call for help. A single macrophage faced with an invader might release signals that summon neutrophils, instruct blood vessels to dilate, and warn other tissues to brace for inflammation. T cells can release signals that shift the entire immune response toward antibodies, cell killing, or tissue repair. Even the brain responds to immune messages, adjusting behavior and mood during illness. This chemical communication is fast, precise, and adaptable. It allows the immune system to act like a unified intelligence, even when its cells are scattered throughout the body, each one listening and responding to a shared biochemical language. Cytokines can call in backup or trigger a storm. In a well-regulated immune response, cytokines help direct resources exactly where they are needed. They instruct white blood cells when to arrive, what to do, and when to stand down. But when this messaging system goes out of control, the results can be dangerous. A cytokine storm is a runaway feedback loop in which immune cells release too many signals, summoning even more cells and causing widespread inflammation and tissue damage. This happens in some infections, like severe influenza or untreated sepsis, where the immune system's attempt to save the body can become fatal. Drugs that block specific cytokines are used to calm these storms. Understanding this system is critical not just for treating rare emergencies, but for managing chronic diseases where low-grade storms smolder for years, damaging joints, blood vessels, or organs. Cytokines are the immune system's megafans. When used well, they bring order. When misused, they unleash chaos. Your body can raise internal temperature to disable pathogens. When faced with an invading virus or bacterium, the body sometimes chooses heat as a weapon. The brain's thermostat is adjusted upward, signaling muscles to shiver and blood vessels to constrict, keeping warmth close to vital organs. As temperature rises, many pathogens lose their ability to reproduce efficiently. At the same time, heat boosts the activity of immune cells, helping them move faster, release more chemicals, and consume invaders more aggressively. Fever also reduces the levels of iron circulating in the blood, starving bacteria of a resource they need to grow. This controlled rise in temperature is not random. It is a coordinated defense strategy that has been preserved across mammals, birds, and even reptiles. The discomfort of fever is not a flaw. It is a sign that the body is taking decisive action, tilting the battlefield in favor of the immune system. The immune system can learn from harmless mimics. Some pathogens disguise themselves so well that the immune system struggles to recognize them. Others look just similar enough to trigger a useful response without causing harm. These harmless mimics can act as accidental teachers, training immune cells to respond more quickly when a true threat appears later. This idea is one of the foundations of modern vaccination, but it also happens naturally. Some gut bacteria display molecular patterns that resemble those of dangerous microbes. By studying them, the immune system learns what to watch for. Even fragments of dead viruses or bacteria lingering in the environment can provide practice. This ability to learn from imitation gives the immune system a remarkable advantage. It does not need to wait for real danger to build a defense. It can prepare in advance, turning everyday molecular encounters into lessons that may one day save a life. Your blood type can influence immune reactions. Blood types are more than labels for transfusions. They reflect subtle molecular signatures on the surface of red blood cells that can affect how the immune system responds to pathogens. People with type O blood, for example, lack A and B antigens, which can make them less susceptible to certain infections like malaria or severe cases of dengue fever. Meanwhile, blood type A has been associated with higher risk of developing certain cancers and more severe reactions to some viruses. Even the natural antibodies that people carry against other blood types can influence how microbes move through communities. During the early stages of a pandemic, patterns sometimes emerge that reveal which blood types are more vulnerable. Though blood type does not control immunity by itself, it can tilt the balance slightly toward greater protection or greater risk. These small differences, multiplied across millions of people, can shape how diseases spread through populations and how individuals respond to them. Some immune cells live for years, others for hours. The immune system is a constantly shifting landscape of fast responders and long-term guardians. Neutrophils rush to the scene of an infection and often die within a day, sacrificing themselves to contain danger. In contrast, memory T cells can live for decades, patrolling the body with knowledge gained from past encounters. Macrophages may reside in a specific tissue for the life of an organism, quietly cleaning debris and responding when needed. Plasma cells that produce antibodies can settle in the bone marrow and continue their work for years, giving lasting protection long after the invader has gone. Even within the same family of cells, lifespan depends on context. A dendritic cell activated in the skin may live only a few days, while one protected in a lymph node could last much longer. The immune system relies on this blend of short-lived urgency and long-lived wisdom, creating a dynamic defense force that can respond quickly and remember deeply. Your immune system protects you before you are born. Immune protection begins in the womb long before the first breath of air or first exposure to the outside world. Through the placenta, the mother passes antibodies into the fetus's bloodstream, giving immediate defense against threats she has already encountered. These antibodies circulate for months after birth, forming a bridge until the baby's own immune system is fully operational. Cells called microglia begin shaping the brain's immune landscape during fetal development, pruning and protecting neural pathways. Even before birth, fetal immune cells can detect and respond to invaders, though they are carefully regulated to avoid triggering dangerous inflammation. Newborns are not defenseless. They arrive with a scaffolding of borrowed immunity and the beginnings of their own. The first environments a baby encounters, from the birth canal to early skin contact, help seed the microbiome and train the immune system for life beyond the womb. Sunlight boosts immunity through vitamin D. When ultraviolet light from the sun strikes the skin, a chemical reaction begins that creates vitamin D, a molecule with powerful effects on immune health. Vitamin D helps regulate T cells and macrophages, encouraging them to attack pathogens while reducing harmful overactivation. It promotes the production of antimicrobial peptides that act like natural antibiotics in the bloodstream. People who live in regions with low sunlight or who spend most of their time indoors often have lower levels of vitamin D, which can leave them more vulnerable to respiratory infections and autoimmune disorders. Supplements can help, but the body's own production from sunlight is especially efficient and finely tuned. During the winter months, when sunlight is weaker and days are shorter, vitamin D levels often drop, and flu season tends to rise. Sunlight is not just warmth and light. It is a biochemical signal that strengthens the immune system and helps maintain balance throughout the body. Some viruses can hide inside cells for a lifetime. Certain viruses have evolved a strategy that allows them to enter a cell, copy their genetic material into the host's DNA, and remain silent for years or even decades. Herpes viruses do this, retreating into nerve cells where they evade immune detection. HIV integrates into immune cells themselves, using the body's defenders as a refuge. These latent viruses produce no warning signals, so the immune system does not target the infected cell. But when conditions change, they can reactivate, producing new viruses and spreading through the body. This silent persistence makes them difficult to eliminate completely, and is one reason why some infections can return after long periods of calm. Understanding how viruses achieve latency is a key area of research in medicine, because it could lead to therapies that either flush them out of hiding or lock them into permanent dormancy. Antibodies can tag invaders for destruction by others. Antibodies do not always destroy pathogens directly. Often, They act as markers that flag viruses, bacteria, or toxins for other immune cells to finish. When an antibody binds to a target, it exposes a region that immune cells like macrophages or natural killer cells can recognize. These cells grip that region and carry out the actual attack, either by engulfing the pathogen or releasing enzymes that break it apart. This tagging system allows for teamwork and precision. A single type of antibody can neutralize a wide range of threats by handing off tasks to whichever cell is best equipped for the job. Complement proteins can also bind to antibody-marked targets, forming holes in bacterial membranes and causing them to burst. Antibodies are like identification badges that turn chaos into ordered response, making sure the right threats are targeted at the right time. Immune cells can recognize one wrong amino acid. Proteins are built from long chains of amino acids, and a single misplaced building block can make the difference between safe and dangerous. T cells patrol the body looking for signs of infection or transformation, and they do this by inspecting tiny protein fragments displayed on the surface of other cells. These fragments may contain only a handful of amino acids, yet T cells can detect even a single change in that sequence. This astonishing sensitivity allows the immune system to catch viruses that have tried to disguise themselves with subtle mutations, or to detect the earliest alterations in cells that may be turning cancerous. It is the molecular equivalent of noticing one wrong note in a long song. Such precision ensures that every cell in the body is accountable, and that even the smallest threat can be recognized before it grows. The immune system can treat cancer with precision. Under the right conditions, immune cells can identify and destroy cancer cells with remarkable accuracy. Tumors often display abnormal proteins on their surfaces or release signals that betray their presence. Cytotoxic T cells can recognize these signs, dig into the tumor mass, and trigger self-destruction pathways in the cancerous cells. Natural killer cells can attack tumor cells that lack normal identity markers. Advances in medicine have found ways to amplify this natural ability. Techniques like checkpoint inhibition remove the brakes that cancer cells use to silence T cells, allowing the immune system to mount a more effective attack. Some treatments extract a patient's T cells, modify them to better recognize the tumor, and return them to the body as specialized cancer hunters. These approaches show that the immune system can be both scalpel and shield, capable of precision attacks guided by decades of cellular memory. Immunotherapy is teaching the body to attack tumors. Traditional cancer treatments like chemotherapy and radiation work by physically damaging tumor cells, but they can also harm healthy tissues. Immunotherapy takes a different approach. It turns the immune system into a guided missile, teaching it to notice and target cancer cells on its own. One method uses monoclonal antibodies that cling to proteins found only on tumor cells, marking them for attack. Another method, known as CAR T-cell therapy, involves collecting T cells from the patient, reprogramming them to recognize the tumor, and infusing them back into the body. These enhanced cells can seek out cancer with laser precision. Even tumors that once hid in plain sight become vulnerable. Immunotherapy is not a single treatment. It is a philosophy of using the body's own intelligence and adaptability to fight a disease that once seemed impossible to control. The hyoid bone houses key immune tissue in the throat. Tucked just above the larynx, the hyoid bone forms a small anchor point for the tongue and muscles involved in swallowing and speech. But it also shelters part of an often overlooked immune organ. The lingual tonsils, located at the base of the tongue and supported by the hyoid region, are part of the lymphatic network that guards the entrances to the body. Along with the palatine tonsils and adenoids, they form a protective ring that samples everything you breathe, swallow, or taste. These tissues contain immune cells that can react to pathogens within minutes, launching antibodies or calling for help from deeper defenses. This early warning system is especially important in children whose tonsils are larger and more active. The hyoid bone may not look like part of the immune system, but it holds a gateway where immunity and the outside world meet. Some immune cells patrol the brain and nervous system. For many years, scientists believed the brain was an immune-privileged zone, isolated from the constant surveillance that occurs in the rest of the body. But this view has changed. Specialized immune cells, known as microglia, live permanently in the brain, acting as both cleaners and guards. They prune away dead or unnecessary neurons, help shape neural connections during learning, and respond rapidly to infection or injury. In addition to microglia, certain T cells can move through the cerebrospinal fluid in the spaces surrounding the brain and spinal cord. These cells do not wander freely the way they do in other tissues. Their presence is tightly controlled, so the delicate machinery of thought and consciousness remains undisturbed. Yet, when danger appears, such as during viral invasion or traumatic injury, they spring into action, releasing signals that summon reinforcements or begin repair. These brain-based immune cells are quiet but essential, protecting the very organ that orchestrates all others. The blood-brain barrier keeps many immune cells out. The brain's blood vessels are wrapped in a specialized lining that acts like a molecular gatekeeper, allowing only select substances to pass through. This structure, known as the blood-brain barrier, is vital for protecting neurons from toxins, pathogens, and fluctuations in the bloodstream. It also restricts most immune cells from entering the brain, reducing the risk of inflammation that could damage delicate tissue. However, the barrier is not absolute. During infection, stroke, or chronic inflammation, it can become leaky, allowing immune cells and inflammatory molecules to spill into the brain. Some neurological conditions, like multiple sclerosis, occur when the barrier breaks down too frequently, letting aggressive immune cells attack the nervous system. Even medicines have difficulty crossing this barrier, which is why treating brain diseases can be so challenging. The blood-brain barrier is a marvel of biological engineering, balancing protection with limited, controlled access to the body's most precious organ. Inflammation in the brain can affect emotions. The immune system and the brain are deeply connected, exchanging chemical signals that influence both physical and emotional states. When immune cells in the brain become activated by infection, injury, or chronic stress, they release cytokines that can alter neurotransmitter levels and disrupt neural circuits. This can lead to symptoms like sadness, anxiety, fatigue, or difficulty concentrating, even when there is no psychological trigger. People with chronic inflammatory diseases often experience mood disturbances not because their minds are weak, but because immune processes are reshaping their brain chemistry. Even temporary inflammation from a common cold can lower motivation or increase irritability. Understanding this link has opened new avenues in mental health research, suggesting that anti-inflammatory therapies could help treat conditions like depression. The brain is not separate from the immune system. It listens to every signal and responds, often in ways that blur the boundary between body and mind. Gut bacteria can influence mood through immunity. The gut and brain are connected by a complex network of nerves, hormones, and immune cells. Microbes living in the gut produce molecules that can travel through the bloodstream, cross into the brain, and influence neural function. Some of these molecules affect immune cells, which in turn signal the brain to adjust mood, appetite, and alertness. Studies have shown that certain gut bacteria can reduce anxiety-like symptoms in mice by altering immune-driven inflammation. In humans, disruptions to gut microbiota have been linked to conditions like depression and irritable bowel syndrome. This relationship is known as the gut-brain immune axis, a powerful feedback loop where changes in one system can ripple through the others. It suggests that mental health is not just a matter of brain chemistry, but of whole body ecology. Feeding the right microbes may one day become part of treating emotional disorders. The appendix stores good bacteria for immune reset. Long dismissed as a useless organ, the appendix is now recognized as a refuge for helpful gut bacteria. Its narrow, sheltered shape allows beneficial microbes to hide during bouts of diarrhea or illness, when the intestinal microbiome may be wiped out. Once the gut recovers, these stored bacteria migrate back into the intestines and help restore balance. The appendix is also rich in lymphoid tissue, packed with immune cells that monitor the contents of the gut and shape early immune responses. In societies with frequent gastrointestinal infections, the appendix serves as a vital backup system. Even in modern settings, its removal is associated with slightly higher risks of certain diseases, including recurrent gut infections and autoimmune disorders. The appendix is not a relic. It is a biological archive of microbial allies and an immune outpost guarding one of the body's busiest frontiers. You shed immune cells into the environment every day. As you move through the world, you leave behind more than skin flakes and stray hairs. You shed millions of immune cells. From the surfaces of your skin, from the lining of your airways, and sometimes even in microscopic bits of dried mucus or saliva. These cells carry fragments of your personal microbial encounters and immune history. Some still contain functional antibodies or genetic remnants of past infections. This invisible cloud of biological material can help scientists trace outbreaks by analyzing surfaces, air particles, or shared spaces. It is also part of the reason why people living in close quarters tend to develop similar microbiomes over time. Even when you are alone, your immune system is radiating outward in tiny, unnoticeable ways, shaping the ecosystems of the spaces you occupy. A healthy immune system can neutralize snake venom. Some animals, and even a few rare humans, have immune defenses that can neutralize the deadly enzymes found in snake venom. These defenses often involve specialized antibodies that recognize and bind to venom proteins, blocking their ability to damage cells or disrupt blood clotting. In humans, this immunity is usually acquired artificially through repeated exposure to small doses of venom that train the immune system to respond. This principle is the foundation of antivenom production, where animals like horses are injected with venom so their serum rich in neutralizing antibodies can be harvested and given to snakebite victims. In nature, animals like mongooses, hedgehogs, and certain birds have evolved natural resistance to venom. Their immune systems have learned to read and counter some of the most potent toxins on Earth, turning a deadly challenge into just another biochemical puzzle to solve. You can be immune to something you have never encountered. The immune system is sometimes prepared for a threat before it ever appears, thanks to a concept known as cross-reactivity. Certain pathogens share enough structural similarity that immune cells trained against one can recognize and respond to another. This can happen with viruses that evolve from a common ancestor or bacteria that use similar surface proteins. Even vaccines for one disease can sometimes grant partial protection against another, unrelated infection. In 2020, scientists discovered that some people carried T cells that reacted to the new coronavirus, likely because they had encountered similar harmless viruses in the past. Cross-immunity is a reminder that the immune system does not learn in isolation. It builds a flexible map of molecular shapes and uses past experience to project forward, preparing for threats it has not yet met. Transplants require immune suppression to avoid rejection. When a person receives a transplanted organ, the immune system sees it not as a life-saving gift, but as a foreign intruder. Even if the transplant is a close match, subtle molecular differences in the donor's cells trigger a powerful immune response. T cells and antibodies attack the new tissue, causing inflammation, scarring, and eventual failure of the organ. To prevent this, patients are given drugs that suppress immune activity, reducing the chance of rejection but leaving them more vulnerable to infections and certain cancers. Researchers are developing new strategies, like teaching the immune system to tolerate the transplant through precise reprogramming or using donor immune cells to build mutual acceptance. Transplantation is a delicate balance between granting life and quieting the very defenses that normally protect it. The immune system can detect foreign DNA fragments instantly. Cells throughout the body are equipped with molecular sensors that scan for traces of foreign genetic material. These sensors are buried in the cytoplasm or anchored in membranes, waiting for something that does not belong. When a viral genome, a fragment of bacterial DNA, or a misplaced piece of mitochondrial code appears, these sensors trigger an immediate alarm. Enzymes activate, inflammation rises, and antiviral defenses switch on, long before the adaptive immune system joins in. This rapid detection provides crucial early warning, allowing the body to isolate infected cells and blunt the spread of pathogens. It is one reason why many infections do not progress beyond the first few hours or days. Even at the smallest scale, the immune system keeps watch, reading the language of molecules and responding in silence and precision. Some parasites actively shut down immune responses. Parasites like tapeworms, hookworms, and certain protozoa have evolved with a singular purpose: to inhabit living hosts without being forcibly removed. Unlike fast-acting pathogens that provoke fever or inflammation, these organisms play a slower game. They release molecular signals that mimic human immune regulators, causing the host's immune cells to lower their defenses or shift into a state of tolerance rather than attack. These signals can slow T-cell activation, cause macrophages to adopt a repair-focused mode, and prevent the release of inflammatory chemicals that would otherwise destroy the parasite. Some parasites even influence the host to produce more regulatory T-cells, a type of immune cell that calms inflammation and reduces tissue damage. This allows the parasite to live undisturbed for months or years, while the host feels little more than mild fatigue or digestive issues. This ability to pacify the immune system is now being studied as a potential treatment for autoimmune diseases, where the immune system attacks the body instead of protecting it. Parasites, originally masters of survival, may one day help solve a different kind of immune misunderstanding. HIV attacks the immune system's command center. Human immunodeficiency virus does not spread randomly through the bloodstream. It seeks out one very specific group of cells called CD4 T cells, which act as leaders, organizers, and coordinators for nearly every immune response in the body. These helper cells decide when to activate B cells for antibody production, when to call cytotoxic T cells to kill infected cells, and when to shut immune reactions down to prevent tissue damage. HIV enters these CD4 cells by binding to a receptor on their surface, then inserts its own genetic code directly into the cell's machinery. The virus uses the cell to produce more copies of itself, destroying the cell in the process. As more CD4 cells are lost, the immune system loses its ability to organize defenses, making everyday microbes and viruses far more dangerous. Without treatment, this leads to a condition called AIDS, where even minor infections can be deadly. Modern antiviral therapies can prevent HIV from multiplying and allow CD4 levels to remain stable, turning HIV into a chronic but manageable condition. But there is still no cure, because the virus hides its genetic code in silent reservoirs deep within the body. HIV is not just a disease of the immune system. It is a takeover of the system's leadership. The immune system can overreact and cause shock. Most of the time, the immune system controls the balance between attack and recovery with remarkable precision. But when this balance fails, the immune response itself becomes a threat. In conditions like septic shock, the body detects invading bacteria and releases a flood of inflammatory chemicals into the bloodstream all at once. Blood vessels expand too rapidly, blood pressure falls, and oxygen fails to reach vital organs. The heart races to compensate, but cannot sustain the demands being placed on it. In anaphylactic shock, a severe allergic reaction triggers a similar cascade, this time in response to something as harmless as a peanut, a stinging insect, or a drug. The immune system reacts with the same urgency it would use against a snakebite or a lethal toxin, releasing so much histamine and immune fluid that the airway constricts and blood circulation collapses. In both cases, medicine must intervene quickly to calm the immune system and restore control. Shock is a reminder that the immune system protects life through force, and that force must always be balanced by regulation to avoid turning defense into danger. Food can trigger both healing and harmful responses. Every mouthful of food does far more than deliver calories. It carries information that the immune system must interpret accurately and instantly. The walls of the intestines are lined with immune cells that sample proteins, fats, sugars, and even fragments of bacteria that arrive with each meal. In most cases, these cells recognize food as safe and allow digestion to proceed without inflammation. But when the immune system identifies a food protein as a threat, the response can be dramatic. Antibodies bind to the food molecule, mast cells explode with histamine, tissue swells, and the body attempts to expel the supposed invader through sneezing, vomiting, or tightening of the airways. In other cases, immune responses inside the gut go unnoticed, repeatedly creating low-grade inflammation that contributes to conditions like celiac disease or irritable bowel syndrome. But food can also support the immune system, especially when it contains fibers that feed beneficial gut bacteria, antioxidants that reduce harmful molecules, or fatty acids that calm inflammation. The relationship between nutrition and immunity works in both directions, shaping health with every bite. Your immune system can influence your appetite. When you feel sick and lose your appetite, it is not simply because food seems unappealing. Immune cells are actually changing how your brain regulates hunger. During infection or injury, white blood cells release proteins called cytokines into the bloodstream. These molecules travel to the brain and affect regions involved in appetite control, metabolism, and energy conservation. The brain then reduces the urge to eat, forcing the body to direct more energy toward immune activity and tissue repair instead of digestion. This shift helps starving the invading microbes of nutrients they might use to grow. At the same time, immune-driven changes in hormones can alter the sensation of taste and smell, making favorite foods seem dull or even unpleasant. Once recovery begins, appetite often returns suddenly, often stronger than before, because the body is ready to rebuild its energy stores. The immune system does not just defend against illness. It helps decide when it is safe to eat, when to conserve, and when to replenish. Healing begins with immune-driven rebuilding. The moment an injury seals shut or an infection clears, the next phase of immunity begins, rebuilding what was lost. Macrophages, which may have spent days breaking apart bacteria or clearing dead cells, begin releasing growth signals instead of attack signals. These chemical messages summon fibroblasts that weave new collagen into damaged tissue, endothelial cells that rebuild small blood vessels, and stem cells that replace specialized tissues like skin, muscle, or nerve. Platelets that once helped form a clot now deliver proteins that promote regrowth and prevent excess scarring. This reconstruction happens in carefully timed phases, with different immune cells taking leadership as needed. If inflammation lasts too long or repair signals are weak, healing stalls and chronic wounds develop. If repair is too aggressive, scar tissue forms in excess and reduces normal function. healing is not separate from immunity. It is the second chapter of the same story, the part where destruction gives way to restoration. Platelets help form clots and call immune cells. Platelets are often described as tiny fragments that help blood clot, but they do far more than plug holes. When a blood vessel is damaged, platelets sense exposed proteins in the vessel wall and rapidly gather to form a physical barrier that prevents blood loss. But at the same time, they begin releasing chemical signals into surrounding tissue, calling immune cells like neutrophils and macrophages to the site. These cells arrive not just to fight infection, but to remove dead tissue and begin the healing process. Platelets also carry antimicrobial peptides, small protein fragments that can kill bacteria directly, giving the wound an immediate defensive layer before white blood cells arrive. Their ability to connect clotting and immunity makes them a first-line responder for both trauma and infection. They are not just building blocks of a scab. They are messengers, defenders, and architects of early wound repair. Some immune defenses come from ancient viral genes. Millions of years ago, retroviruses infected the cells of early mammals and inserted fragments of their genetic material into the host genome. Over time, many of those viral genes became permanent residents, passed from parent to child like ordinary DNA. But first, these viral remnants were silent passengers. But eventually, some of them were co-opted and rewired for immune use. Today, certain proteins that help cells detect viral DNA or warn neighboring cells of infection can be traced back to these ancient viral insertions. Even the ability of human embryos to form the placenta depends on a viral gene that once allowed viruses to fuse cells together. The immune system is not a closed invention made only by the body. It is a collaborative archive of past conflicts, using fragments of former enemies as tools for future defense. The ghosts of old viruses are no longer threats. They are part of the shield. Your immune system is influenced by your circadian rhythm. Each day, your body follows internal clocks that control hormone levels, blood pressure, metabolism, and sleep. The immune system is tuned to these same rhythms. During the hours of deep sleep, certain types of white blood cells become more active, moving into tissues and searching for infections or damage. At dawn, stress hormones rise and signal some immune cells to return to the bloodstream, preparing the body for exposure to the outside world. Even the chances of developing a fever or responding to a vaccine can change depending on the time of day. When circadian rhythms are disrupted, such as through night shift work, jet lag, or chronic sleep loss, immune function weakens. Inflammation may rise at inappropriate times, leaving the body more vulnerable to infections and chronic disease. The immune system is not just a defense mechanism. It is a clock-governed discipline, structured around cycles of rest and activity as old as life itself. Bone infection can happen when immunity is bypassed. Bones feel solid and protected, but they are full of living tissue, blood flow, and immune activity. Under normal conditions, immune cells patrolling the bloodstream can prevent bacteria from ever reaching bone. But when a fracture breaks through the skin, a joint replacement is implanted, or a bloodstream infection grows severe enough, microbes can enter the inner spaces of bone. Once there, they may form biofilms, sticky layers of bacteria that shield them from both immune cells and antibiotics. The immune system tries to send macrophages and neutrophils into the infected bone, but the hard, enclosed structure makes full defense difficult. In severe cases, the body walls off infected areas, delaying healing or cutting off blood supply entirely. Treating bone infections often requires surgery, extended antibiotics, and immune support, because the usual lines of defense are harder to deploy. Even the strongest structures in the body depend on immune vigilance. When that vigilance is bypassed, bone becomes as vulnerable as any soft tissue. your immune system learns faster than any computer. Artificial intelligence can analyze billions of data points per second, but it still cannot match the adaptive brilliance of your immune system. The cells of your immune network use a type of problem-solving that is organic, self-updating, and constantly experimental. When a new pathogen enters your body, millions of immune cells begin producing slightly different receptors, each one attempting to bind to some part of the invader. The moment a successful connection is made, the cell that discovered it multiplies rapidly, while the ineffective ones naturally fade away. In just a few days, your immune system evolves from having no solution to creating a full response that is both targeted and increasingly efficient. No human-made computer matches this speed because the immune system does not simply sift through possibilities. It generates new ones on the fly and embeds the successful solutions into long-term memory cells, ready to be reawakened decades later. It learns not by scanning databases, but by living through encounters and growing stronger as a result. Adaptive immunity builds your personal defense library. The immune responses that take place inside your body are not generic. They become uniquely yours through a lifetime of exposure to microbes, foods, vaccines, and environmental triggers. This collection of experiences forms an internal library of defense strategies, stored in memory T cells and memory B cells. These specialized cells do not just wait passively. They live in tissues where enemies are likely to return, like the blood, the lymph nodes, and the gut lining. When a familiar pathogen enters again, memory cells recognize it instantly and begin working before symptoms even develop. They activate faster, produce more specialized antibodies, and coordinate with other immune units to shut down the infection in a fraction of the original time. This biological archive continues to grow throughout life, giving every person a custom-built set of defenses no one else shares. It reflects geography, diet, health history, and even the microscopic ecosystems of the home. Your immune library is a private and powerful form of biological intelligence. Innate immunity reacts immediately to general threats. Long before your immune system has time to learn from or remember anything, it deploys rapid, automatic responses to keep you alive. This broad defense network, known as innate immunity, includes physical barriers like skin and mucus, as well as cells that respond to danger signals the moment they appear. Neutrophils begin targeting bacteria within minutes. Mast cells release histamine to widen blood vessels and allow reinforcements to arrive, and natural killer cells search for anything that shows signs of viral BAF, takeover, or genetic mutation. These cells do not need training. They are equipped with preset patterns that recognize fragments shared by countless pathogens across evolutionary history. Their action is fast, general, and blunt, like a lock that can keep out thousands of different keys at once. But this first wave of defense is not enough for long-term safety. It simply buys time until the adaptive immune system builds a customized strategy. Without innate immunity, every infection would be fatal before the body could learn to survive. Your immune system uses chemical camouflage to avoid collateral damage. When an immune attack begins, it unleashes powerful chemicals capable of dissolving infected cells, breaking down tissue, and destroying microbial invaders. But this force requires precision. To protect healthy cells during an immune battle, your body relies on surface markers and signals that act like invisible uniforms. Normal cells constantly display patterns of proteins that act as recognition codes, telling immune cells to ignore them. Infected or cancerous cells lose this code and expose different markers that signal danger. The immune system responds only where the danger signal appears, sparing the cells that still show their proper identity. Some immune responses are even more targeted, releasing molecules that activate only after entering a diseased cell, so the destructive force never spreads outward. This form of chemical camouflage allows your body to wage war inside its own tissues without destroying the territory it is trying to protect. The immune system is not just powerful, it is exquisitely selective. Some animals have far more powerful immune responses. Across the animal kingdom, evolution has written a wide range of immune strategies that often exceed what humans are capable of. Alligators and crocodiles have immune systems so adaptable that their blood can kill many human antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Elephants rarely develop cancer, partly because they carry multiple copies of genes that trigger damaged cells to self-destruct before they can mutate further. Certain species of mice can survive infections from viruses that would be fatal to people, and bats have immune systems that remain active all the time, preventing viral replication without triggering harmful beta. Information. Even tiny animals like tardigrades can survive freezing, radiation, and years without water, thanks in part to immune adaptations that protect their molecules from damage. Studying these unusually strong immune responses has already led to medical breakthroughs, including new antiviral techniques and cancer therapies. The immune system is not a single universal design. It is a diverse and evolving field of biological experimentation, and humans are just one version of the blueprint. Sharks have been using antibodies for millions of years. Sharks are among the oldest living vertebrates on Earth, and their immune systems carry solutions so effective that they have barely changed in tens of millions of years. They produce a type of antibody known as IgNAR, which is smaller and more flexible than the antibodies found in humans. These shark antibodies can bind to tiny regions of a virus or toxin that human antibodies cannot reach, making them remarkably precise. They are also more stable and can function in extreme temperatures and environments that would break down human immune proteins. Researchers now use shark antibodies as templates to design new medications for cancer, autoimmune diseases, and viral infections. These molecules can detect and disable targets that traditional treatments miss. The shark immune system is not primitive. It is ancient and refined, a living record of immune engineering that still outperforms modern medicine in several ways. Evolution often finds the right answer early and simply keeps it. Plants also have immune systems, just built differently. Plants do not have white blood cells, antibodies, or lymph nodes, but they still defend themselves with complex molecular and cellular strategies. Each plant cell is equipped with receptors that detect fragments of invading bacteria, fungi, or viruses. When a threat is detected, the plant seals off the infected area by destroying its own cells, trapping the invader in a small, isolated zone. At the same time, it produces antimicrobial chemicals that can kill microbes directly or attract beneficial insects to help fight off pests. Some plants even send warning signals through their roots or through the air, triggering nearby plants to prepare their defenses before the threat arrives. These alerts can activate defensive genes, increase toxin production, or thicken outer barriers. The plant immune system is decentralized, embedded in every cell, and entirely self-managed. It cannot move or heal the way animal systems can, so it relies on foresight, sacrifice, and chemical warfare to survive. Despite lacking a brain, the plant immune system is intelligent and astonishingly coordinated. The immune system can be trained outside the body. Advances in biotechnology now allow scientists to train immune cells in laboratory settings, teaching them to recognize and destroy diseases before they ever enter a human patient. One example is CAR T-cell therapy, where a person's own T-cells are removed from the bloodstream, engineered to recognize cancer cells, and return to the body as a living treatment. These enhanced cells multiply and seek out tumors with a level of precision the immune system could not achieve on its own. Other techniques include growing immune cells from stem cells, exposing them to viral particles or synthetic molecules, and sending them back into the body as highly trained defenders. Even vaccines are a form of immune training, using safe imitations of pathogens to build memory without causing disease. The ability to shape immune behavior outside the body opens the door to personalized medicine, where each patient's cells can be custom-built to solve a specific threat. The immune system is no longer just a natural force. It is becoming a programmable one. Space travel temporarily weakens immune defenses. When astronauts leave Earth's atmosphere, their bodies enter an environment where gravity, radiation, sleep cycles, and microbial exposure all change at once. The immune system reacts immediately, and often unfavorably. White blood cells reduce their activity, inflammation increases in unpredictable ways, and viruses that normally remain asleep in the body, such as herpes viruses, may reactivate. The absence of gravity also changes how blood flows through the body, affecting the circulation of immune cells and slowing their ability to detect problems. Even the microbiome of the gut shifts in space, depriving the immune system of normal communication signals. Studies from the International Space Station reveal that these changes can happen in just a few days and take weeks to return to normal after the astronaut lands back on Earth. Space exploration does not just challenge muscles and bones. It places the immune system under stress it has never evolved to handle, forcing science to invent new ways of protecting the body beyond the planet where immunity first emerged. Emotions can change immune protein levels. The immune system listens constantly to chemical signals released by the brain, and those signals shift with emotional state. When a person feels intense fear, stress hormones like cortisol rise in the bloodstream and suppress immune activity, especially in cells that fight viruses. Loneliness and grief can increase inflammatory molecules, making the body more prone to chronic disease. On the other hand, positive emotions and social bonding can increase natural killer cell activity and promote the release of proteins that support tissue repair. Even laughing for a few minutes can raise antibody levels in saliva. These effects are not imaginary. They are measurable and repeatable across large populations. The mind and the immune system are partners in survival, constantly exchanging updates about the world inside and outside the body. Emotions are not just mental experiences. They are biochemical signals that shape immune strength, healing speed, and even the course of aging. Your immune system talks to your hormones. The immune system is often described as a self-contained force, but it depends heavily on constant communication with the endocrine system, the network of glands that produces hormones. Chemical messengers like cortisol, estrogen, adrenaline, and thyroid hormone all influence how immune cells behave. During stress, cortisol levels rise and suppress the activity of certain white blood cells to conserve energy, which is why long-term stress can make a person more vulnerable to infections. During puberty, hormone shifts help shape the balance of immune activity, sometimes intensifying autoimmune tendencies in girls and increasing inflammatory conditions in boys. Even the menstrual cycle affects immunity. Estrogen can enhance antibody production, while progesterone generally calms the immune response. This biochemical conversation goes in both directions. Immune cells produce small proteins that travel through the blood and influence glands in the brain, thyroid, and pancreas. The two systems are not separate. They coordinate every day, adjusting defense and metabolism so the body can deal with danger and recovery as one integrated effort. Certain cells have built-in suicide switches for safety. The immune system is powerful, but its cells must remain under tight control to prevent runaway reactions. Many types of immune cells contain internal programs that trigger self-destruction if they become too active or live too long. This process, known as apoptosis, is essential for clearing away extra immune cells once an infection has been defeated. Without it, the immune response would continue indefinitely, damaging healthy tissue and overwhelming the body. Even cells that detect viral infections or cancer rely on suicide switches to protect the body if they cannot stop a threat. Some immune cells patrol tissues looking specifically for cells that have failed to self-destruct when they should have. If they find one, they trigger the same process from the outside. The idea of programmed cell death may sound extreme, but it is one of the reasons human beings can mount fierce immune attacks without destroying themselves in the process. The body survives because its defenders know when to disappear. The immune system can tag your own cells for recycling. Not all immune activity is aimed at destruction. A large part of the system's job is to maintain balance by tagging old, damaged, or unnecessary cells for removal. This process involves immune signals that mark a cell's surface, telling other cells that it is ready to be broken down and recycled. Macrophages then ingest these tagged cells and break them apart into useful molecules that can be reused elsewhere in the body. This system helps prevent the buildup of malfunctioning cells that could develop into cancer or interfere with normal tissue function. In the bloodstream alone, millions of red blood cells are tagged and recycled every second. Without this constant renewal, bones, skin, blood, and organs would all be overwhelmed by debris. The immune system is not only a defender, it is a janitor, clearing away the aging and broken parts of the body to make room for fresh, healthy growth. Some cells sacrifice themselves to block infections. In the earliest stages of infection, single immune cells sometimes take drastic action to protect the whole body. One of the most dramatic examples is a process called neutrophil extracellular trapping, where a neutrophil releases its entire internal structure outward, forming a tangled web of DNA and proteins that traps bacteria in place. The cell dies in the process, but the trap prevents the microbes from spreading. Other immune cells can trigger a fiery type of cell death that releases chemical alarms, summoning reinforcements to the site of infection. Even skin cells play a role by dying and sealing off wounds when bacteria attempt to invade. These cellular sacrifices are not random. They are built into the genetic programming of the cells, ready to activate when the cost of survival outweighs the value of a single life. Self-sacrifice is rare in nature, but in the immune system, it is a routine and necessary part of defending the whole against the few. Sneezes and coughs are rapid defense mechanisms. Sneezing and coughing may feel like irritations, but they are high-speed mechanical defenses powered by the immune system. When immune cells in the nose or throat detect irritants like viruses, bacteria, or pollen, they release chemicals that stimulate nerves to activate the sneeze reflex. Air blasts out of the body at high velocity, carrying droplets filled with pathogens or debris. Coughing uses a similar burst of pressure from the lungs to clear particles from the throat and airways. These are not simple reflexes. They are coordinated responses involving the brain, muscles, mucous membranes, and immune signaling. Even the thickness of mucus changes depending on what the body needs to trap. If the immune system is on alert, mucus becomes heavier and more adhesive, increasing the number of particles removed with each cough or sneeze. These actions are part of the first line of defense and can stop an infection before it spreads deeper into the respiratory system. The body protects itself not just through chemistry, but through explosive force. Your immune system can recognize 1 billion unique patterns. One of the most astonishing features of the immune system is the sheer variety of receptors it can produce to detect invading microbes. Each B cell and T cell carries a unique receptor, created through a genetic shuffling process that recombines DNA segments into new shapes every time a cell develops. This randomness allows the immune system to generate receptors that can match viruses, bacteria, fungi, toxins, and even mutated cells that have never existed before. The total number of possible combinations exceeds 1 trillion, but the body usually maintains a smaller active pool of about 1 billion. When a receptor finally matches an invader, the cell carrying it multiplies rapidly, turning a single successful guess into an army of defenders. No other system in nature generates this many specific recognition tools on demand. It is a form of biological prediction, built not by logic, but by variation, selection, and relentless renewal. Scarlet fever was deadly before antibiotics. Today, scarlet fever is often treated with simple oral antibiotics, but before modern medicine, it was one of the most feared childhood diseases. Caused by a toxin-producing strain of Streptococcus bacteria, scarlet fever can trigger an overwhelming immune reaction that causes intense fever, red rashes, peeling skin, and in severe cases, damage to the heart, kidneys, or brain. The immune system fights the bacteria fiercely, but the toxins they release spread through the bloodstream faster than many patients could tolerate. Without antibiotics, outbreaks swept through towns and cities every few years, leaving families devastated. Even after recovery, some patients developed autoimmune complications, where the immune system began attacking its own tissues, mistaking them for bacterial proteins. The arrival of penicillin in the 20th century transformed scarlet fever into a treatable illness, proving that even the strongest immune system sometimes needs help. Medicine and immunity are not rivals. They are partners, and their alliance has changed the course of history. Immune memory can last a lifetime from a single encounter. Some infections or vaccines generate immunity so strong and long-lasting that it persists for decades without any further exposure. Smallpox, measles, and yellow fever are examples of diseases where a single infection can leave behind memory cells that remain active for 70 years or longer. These cells do not rely on constant stimulation. They carry quiet, stable copies of antibodies and T-cell receptors that can be reactivated quickly if the pathogen ever returns. Even the bone marrow plays a role, housing specialized plasma cells that release tiny amounts of antibodies continuously, just enough to maintain a baseline defense without triggering full inflammation. This durability is not universal. Some pathogens, like coronaviruses, change too quickly or fail to create strong immune memory. But when the conditions are right, the immune system can build a defense that outlives the person who first received it. The memory of infection can become a legacy passed on through blood, generations, and even history. The immune system can go rogue after certain infections. Sometimes, the same immune response that saves a person's life during infection becomes a long-term problem. After battling a strong pathogen, the immune system can mistakenly continue to attack healthy tissue even after the danger is gone. This phenomenon is connected to autoimmune conditions such as rheumatic fever, where a strep infection leads the immune system to attack the heart, or Guillain-Barré syndrome, where a viral infection triggers nerve damage. The cause is often molecular mimicry. The proteins on the invading microbe closely resemble proteins in the body, and once the immune system learns to attack one, it struggles to tell the difference. This kind of immune confusion can last for months, years, or permanently. It is not a sign of weakness, but of evolutionary trade-offs. The immune system must respond aggressively enough to survive infection, even if the cost is occasional misfires. The price of protection is precision, and sometimes precision is not perfect. The body can develop natural resistance to certain diseases. Across generations, human populations exposed to specific pathogens can develop stronger natural defenses, even without vaccines or medicines. This form of inherited resistance is visible in regions where malaria has been common for centuries. People with sickle cell traits are less likely to die from malaria because the altered shape of their red blood cells makes it harder for the parasite to multiply. In parts of Europe, genetic variations that arose after historic plagues now provide increased resistance to certain viral infections. Even individual bodies show resistance growth after mild infections, as the immune system gradually refines its responses to everyday microbes in the environment. Resistance is not immunity, but it is a biological head start, powered by evolution, adaptation, and immune memory. The body is not just reacting to disease. It is learning from it, rewriting itself, and preparing future generations to survive what the past could not avoid. Some infections hide in nerve cells to evade immunity. Certain viruses have developed a strategy of extraordinary patience. Instead of staying in the bloodstream or tissues where they would be exposed to immune patrols, they retreat into the nervous system, a place where immune surveillance is more limited and inflammatory responses are tightly regulated to avoid damaging vital pathways. Herpes viruses are a famous example. After an initial infection, they slip into the long, branching structures of nerve cells and remain there in a dormant state, invisible to most immune defenses. They can stay hidden for years or even decades, reactivating only when stress, illness, or other triggers weaken the immune system. The varicella virus, which causes chickenpox in childhood, later returns as shingles from this hidden reservoir. Rabies, poliovirus, and some forms of meningitis also use nerve cells as shelter, moving toward the brain along protected neural highways. It is not just a hiding place. It is a form of survival through invisibility, one that exploits a key vulnerability of even the most advanced immune systems. The spleen can regrow if partially removed. The spleen is often overshadowed by more well-known organs, but it plays a vital role in filtering blood, recycling red blood cells, and supporting the immune response. It removes old and damaged cells from circulation, stores emergency supplies of platelets, and houses immune cells that respond to blood-borne infections. If part of the spleen is removed due to injury or surgery, the remaining tissue can slowly grow back, restoring much of its original function. This regeneration is possible because the spleen contains clusters of stem-like cells that can rebuild both the blood-filtering structures and the immune tissue around them. Even a small fragment of healthy spleen can expand to compensate for the missing portion. Although complete loss of the spleen requires lifelong medical support, partial regeneration shows that the immune system is more adaptable than most people realize. The spleen is not just a passive filter. It is a resilient and renewing organ, built for both defense and recovery. Your bloodstream can carry tiny immune sensors. Floating through your circulation are small proteins and molecules designed to detect threats before immune cells even arrive. These sensors, known as pattern recognition molecules, bind to fragments of bacteria, viruses, and injured cells. Once they attach, they activate chemical cascades that label the invader for destruction or directly begin breaking it apart. One of the most powerful examples is the complement system, a network of proteins that puncture holes in the membranes of microbes, tag them for phagocytosis, or trigger inflammation in nearby tissue. These molecules are constantly patrolling, acting faster than any single cell can move. They form a surveillance network that does not sleep, does not weaken, and does not depend on previous exposure to threats. Without these floating detectors, the immune system would have to wait for physical contact between invaders and immune cells, slowing response times and increasing risk. The bloodstream is not just a transport system. It is an active line of defense. Antimicrobial peptides are microscopic biological weapons. Antimicrobial peptides are short chains of amino acids that act as built-in antibiotics for the body. They are produced by immune cells, skin cells, and even the lining of the gut and respiratory tract. These peptides work by binding to the membranes of bacteria, fungi, and some viruses, creating holes that cause the microbes to burst or lose essential function. Unlike many traditional antibiotics, antimicrobial peptides rarely trigger resistance because they attack fundamental structures that microbes cannot easily change. Some animals, like frogs and insects, rely almost entirely on these peptides for infection control. Humans also produce dozens of different varieties, each specialized for a particular part of the body or type of threat. Researchers are now studying how to turn these natural defense molecules into new medicines, hoping to solve the growing crisis of antibiotic resistance. These molecules are simple, ancient, and highly effective, proving that evolution has long known how to build weapons at the molecular scale. Viruses can mutate faster than the immune system can track. One of the greatest challenges in fighting viral infections is the speed at which many viruses change their genetic code. Influenza, for example, mutates so quickly that its surface proteins shift every year, forcing the immune system to relearn how to recognize it and requiring regular vaccine updates. HIV mutates even faster, evolving inside the body of a single patient and evading immune pressure by constantly altering its appearance. This rapid evolution happens because viruses reproduce incredibly quickly and often make copying errors in their genetic material. Some viruses even thrive on these errors, using them as fuel for adaptation. When a virus mutates faster than the immune system can respond, the body enters a constant chase, building defenses that become obsolete weeks or months later. It is not a sign of weakness in the immune system. It is a reflection of biology that moves at different tempos, where speed can be the key to survival. Some immune cells use tentacles to detect threats. Certain immune cells, including dendritic cells and macrophages, extend long, flexible structures into their surroundings to sample the environment. These structures, called filopodia, act like sensory feelers that can detect microbes, chemical signals, and damaged tissue before the cell itself moves closer. Filopodia can stretch through small gaps between cells, slide along blood vessel walls, and even wrap around particles before bringing them back for internal analysis. This ability allows immune cells to search large areas without physically relocating, conserving energy while maintaining watchfulness. In the gut, dendritic cells extend these tentacles through the lining to sample bacteria in the lumen, gathering information without breaking the protective barrier. These probing structures are not passive. They reshape constantly, respond to chemical cues, and can trigger an immune reaction if they detect something dangerous. Immune surveillance is not just movement. It is exploration by touch, guided by cells that behave like living sensors. Fever helps increase the speed of immune reactions. Although fever is often seen as a symptom of illness, it is actually a deliberate and strategic response from the immune system. When pathogens are detected, immune cells release molecules called pyrogens that instruct the brain to raise the body's temperature. Most bacteria and viruses grow best at normal body temperature, so a few degrees of heat can slow their reproduction. Meanwhile, the increased temperature speeds up the activity of immune cells, making them move, divide, and attack more rapidly. Fever also increases the production of heat shock proteins, which help protect healthy cells from stress while allowing them to continue functioning in warmer conditions. Even the liver joins in by shifting its metabolism to produce more resources for the immune response. Fever is not a mistake. It is a carefully controlled state that tilts the biological battlefield in the body's favor. When the danger passes, the temperature returns to normal, guided by the same internal regulators that initiated it. The gut has its own independent immune network. Inside the walls of the digestive tract lies the largest collection of immune tissue in the body. This system, known as gut-associated lymphoid tissue, monitors trillions of microbes living in the intestines and decides which ones are harmless, helpful, or dangerous. It includes specialized immune cells that only patrol the gut, lymph nodes that handle constant sampling of bacterial fragments, and antibodies that are released directly into the digestive fluid. Unlike immune cells in the bloodstream, gut immune cells must remain tolerant of beneficial bacteria while staying ready to destroy harmful invaders. They help maintain peace by producing anti-inflammatory signals and releasing molecules that strengthen the intestinal barrier. If this balance breaks down, autoimmune conditions or chronic inflammation can develop. The gut immune network works closely with the microbiome, forming a partnership between the body and its microbial residents. It is not just a line of defense. It is a living negotiation between two deeply connected worlds. You can be allergic to cold, light, or vibration. Most people associate allergies with pollen, food, or animal dander, but the immune system can also react to physical conditions like temperature, sunlight, or movement. In cold urticaria, exposure to cold air or water causes immune cells in the skin to release histamine, triggering itching, swelling, and hives. In solar urticaria, ultraviolet light acts as the trigger, even through clouds or window glass. Some individuals experience a condition called vibratory angioedema, where repetitive mechanical pressure, such as running, clapping, or even using a power tool, prompts an immediate immune response. These reactions happen because the immune system mistakenly reads harmless environmental conditions as dangerous. Instead of responding to a foreign substance, it reacts to the body's own physical environment. These conditions are rare, but they reveal how sensitive and complex immune signaling can be. The boundary between what is foreign and what is simply unfamiliar is not always clear, even inside the body. Some people's immune systems treat water like a threat. Aquagenic urticaria is one of the rarest immune disorders ever documented. People with this condition develop hives, redness, or burning when their skin comes into contact with water, no matter its temperature or purity. The reaction is not caused by chemicals in the water, but by the body's mistaken release of histamine in response to moisture itself. Even tears, sweat, or rain can trigger symptoms. The condition is so unusual that fewer than 100 confirmed cases exist worldwide. It is not a true allergy since no foreign substance is involved, but the immune response behaves like one, activating mast cells beneath the skin and causing itching, swelling, and inflammation. The root cause remains unclear. Some researchers believe it may result from water dissolving natural skin compounds that then penetrate deeper layers and trigger immune cells. This condition shows how even the most familiar element on Earth can become a perceived threat when the immune system's recognition system goes awry. Sneezes can spread tiny immune cells into the air. A sneeze is often thought of as a simple burst of air, but it is much more than just a reaction to dust or irritation. When the immune system detects foreign particles in the nasal passages, it doesn't just trigger muscle contractions to force them out. It also releases immune cells, mucus, and antimicrobial proteins in the process. These components coat the expelled droplets, turning them into tiny immune-charged capsules that spread into the surrounding air. Some of the cells, like neutrophils and macrophages, are fully functional and capable of binding pathogens before they reach a new host. Even expired mucus contains molecules and antibodies designed to trap or neutralize microbes. This means a sneeze is not just an escape mechanism. It is a last act of defense, sending out both the irritants and the immune tools needed to control them. The body fights infection even as it expels it, showing how deeply layered and dynamic immune reactions can be. your immune system changes from childhood to old age. Human immunity is not static. In infancy, the immune system relies heavily on protection passed from the mother through antibodies and breast milk. As a child grows, the immune system begins learning rapidly, responding to vaccines, environmental microbes, and early infections. This is the time when the thymus, a gland behind the breastbone, is most active, training T cells to recognize what belongs in the body and what does not. By adulthood, the immune system is at its peak efficiency, balancing rapid responses with well-developed memory. But as age advances, immune cells become slower to replicate, inflammation becomes harder to resolve, and the thymus shrinks until it stops producing new T cells altogether. This process, known as immune aging, makes older adults more vulnerable to infections and less responsive to vaccines. But lifestyle factors like sleep, diet, and social connection can slow this process, showing that immunity is not just biological. It is lived, shaped by time, environment, and experience. Some immune cells act like snipers against viruses. Cytotoxic T cells, often called killer T cells, are among the most precise immune defenders in the body. Unlike broader immune strategies such as inflammation or fever, these cells target individual infected cells with molecular accuracy. First, they patrol tissues quietly, checking protein signatures displayed on the surfaces of cells. When they find one showing viral proteins or signs of cancer, they lock on and release stored chemicals that destroy the target without harming the surrounding healthy cells. They can move quickly, kill in silence, and then move on to the next threat. Even after the immediate infection ends, a fraction of these cells remain behind as memory cells, ready to respond faster if the same virus returns. Their efficiency and restraint are so remarkable that researchers try to mimic them in cancer therapies, programming patients' own immune cells to behave more like natural snipers. These cells do not rely on speed or numbers. They rely on precision, discipline, and a careful balance of power. Immune cells can move faster than most bacteria. In the bloodstream and inside tissues, immune cells like neutrophils and macrophages can move with astonishing speed, sometimes traveling many times their own length in a single minute. They do this by extending and retracting their internal skeletons, reshaping themselves into stretched, flowing forms that glide through blood vessel walls and across tissue. This movement is guided by chemical trails left behind by injured cells or invading microbes. As soon as a signal is released, immune cells begin migrating in that direction, sometimes arriving within minutes of infection. This rapid motion allows them to intercept bacteria that replicate every few hours, preventing them from building up dangerous levels. Compared to bacteria, which rely on flagella or passive spread, immune cells behave like living machines, optimized for speed and flexibility. This race within the body is one of the most important battles in survival. If the immune cells arrive before the microbes take hold, healing can occur rapidly and without symptoms. The body can make antibodies to almost anything. The immune system's ability to manufacture antibodies is one of the most diverse and adaptable biological processes ever discovered. Each antibody has a unique shape that allows it to bind to a specific part of an invading virus, bacterium, or toxin. These shapes are created through a random shuffling of DNA segments in developing B cells, a process so flexible that the body can theoretically produce more than 1 trillion different antibodies. Even synthetic or artificial molecules can trigger antibody production if the body encounters them. This limitless diversity allows humans to survive in a world full of constantly evolving microbes, environmental chemicals, and natural toxins. Antibodies not only neutralize invaders directly, but also tag them so other immune cells can find and destroy them. This system is constantly evolving within each person, creating a biological catalogue of defenses based on past exposures and new discoveries. In this way, the immune system is not just reactive. It is creative, inventing solutions as needed. Your immune system has specialized first responders. Among the vast network of immune cells, some are primed to act instantly whenever danger is detected. These include mast cells, which line the tissues near the skin, lungs, and digestive tract, ready to release histamine during sudden injury or infection. Neutrophils join them as a rapid force, leaving the bloodstream within minutes to engulf bacteria and release antimicrobial chemicals. Natural killer cells, another type of first responder, immediately scan for cells showing signs of viral takeover or cancerous changes and destroy them before they spread. These early actions are not random. They are highly organized and coordinated by chemical signals that allow different cell types to take their roles in sequence. Without these fast-moving responders, infections would have time to multiply before more specialized parts of the immune system could activate. The first responders act as shields, buying time for the adaptive immune system to analyze the threat, build a targeted response, and restore balance. White blood cells can change shape to squeeze through tissues. In the bloodstream, white blood cells look round and compact, but when they need to move into tissue, they soften their structure and flow through openings far smaller than themselves. They achieve this by rearranging proteins in their outer membrane and shifting their internal skeleton into a stretched shape. This allows them to pass between tightly packed cells in blood vessel walls without causing damage. Once inside the tissue, they resume movement, crawling between layers of cells like travelers through a dense forest. This ability is essential for finding infections deep inside the body, where blood flow alone cannot reach. The process is so precise that immune cells can exit the bloodstream in one direction and re-enter it somewhere else, continuing their patrol. This flexibility makes them some of the most mobile and adaptable cells in the human body. They are not limited by physical barriers. They simply reshape themselves and keep going. The immune system protects you while you are asleep. Sleep is not a time of rest for the immune system. In fact, many of its most important tasks take place during the night. While you sleep, the body reduces stress hormones, which gives immune cells more freedom to move and interact. The lymphatic system increases its flow, allowing the brain to clear debris and immune cells to circulate more efficiently. Studies show that the body produces more infection-fighting proteins during sleep and that memory immune cells become more active, strengthening long-term defenses. Even inflammation is controlled more carefully at night, creating the ideal environment for tissue repair and immune coordination. If sleep is disrupted, these processes falter, leaving the body more vulnerable to infection. This is why people who lack rest often get sick more easily and recover more slowly. The immune system does not pause with consciousness. It uses the quiet hours to rebuild, refine, and prepare for another day of exposure to the world. Immune signals can make you feel tired during illness. The exhaustion that settles in during an infection is not just a side effect. It is a deliberate response from the immune system. When immune cells detect an invading microbe, they release molecules called cytokines that travel through the bloodstream and communicate with the brain. These signals trigger changes in behavior, urging the body to rest, sleep more, eat less, and conserve energy for healing. This fatigue has purpose. It reduces activity that could spread infection to others and redirects metabolic resources toward defense and tissue repair. Even emotions can be affected, as the same cytokines influence mood and motivation, creating a natural pull toward isolation. This response evolved long before modern medicine, and it still works today as a biological form of quarantine and recovery. Tiredness is not weakness. It is strategy, encoded in the immune system to make healing more likely and survival more efficient. Your immune system never rests, even for a second. Every moment of your life, from birth to death, your immune system is active. Even when you are not sick, millions of immune cells are patrolling your blood, tissues, and organs, looking for anything that threatens balance. They remove damaged cells, absorb debris, detect early signs of infection, and maintain peace with your friendly microbes. The process continues in every stage of life, changing shape and speed but never stopping. It is fueled by constant communication, carried by chemical signals, and guided by memory that lasts for decades. Whether you are asleep, distracted, stressed, or unaware, the immune system is scanning, learning, and acting. It does not wait for emergencies. It works all the time to prevent them. The silence you feel inside your body is not stillness. It is harmony created by a biological force that keeps watch so the rest of you can live freely. As we reach the end of this quiet journey through the invisible world inside you, I hope you feel a little more connected to the constant, tireless work your body is doing to keep you safe. Even as you close your eyes, even as your breathing slows and your thoughts drift, there is a whole universe beneath your skin, awake and aware, protecting you with perfect patience. You are never truly alone. You carry a system built from millions of years of life, change, and evolution, all of it focused on one purpose: keeping you here, alive and whole in every moment. It is a reminder that even when you cannot feel it, your body is moving, thinking, adapting, and learning on your behalf. So let the weight of that truth settle gently around you like a blanket. Let the calm rise. Let your muscles soften. Let sleep take the space your thoughts have been holding, and trust that you are cared for, inside and out. Rest, knowing that the part of you that never sleeps is still watching, keeping time with the silence of the night. Good night.